Welcome back to another great week of Twisted Transitions. I would like to come on here and first apologize initially because for some reason my sinuses wanted to act up today. They feel the best that they have all day, but my sinuses have been atrocious all day. It has been horrible. So if you hear me sniffle, or if you hear me sneeze, if you hear me snort, whatever it is, I am struggling. I'm not sick by any means. I feel great other than that, but my sinuses are just struggling. But we're going to get through today because today I've got a great show for you guys. I don't have really any topics to really talk about, so we'll kind of do a Q&A, but I've got a lot of information to pass on to you guys. I had a segment and everything set up for just in case DJ Bar was late last week, and I didn't get to utilize any of it, but I still wanted to show you and tell you because I went through so much trouble to put everything together. So I'm going to take today to do that. This weekend marks the beginning of the endless weekends where it's something every single weekend. It starts off with a Sunday wedding, which is weird because I don't have a Saturday one. I only have a Sunday, but I have a few of those within the next couple of months. So that'll be good. So let me give a shout out to everybody in the chat here. Romeo Great was in the house first here. DJ G Kenny, what's good? DJ Kinfolk, what's good? What's good? Kevin Sounds in the building. What's happening? What's happening? Let's see. I think that's all we got in the chat. Oh, speaking of chat, I wanted to put a poll up in the chat. If you guys can just answer that poll when you get a chance, that would be great. Because I'm trying to see whether or not I'm going to continue doing gig logs or if I'm just going to shut that all the way down, whether or not I record these functions, or not at these weddings, because I don't know, gig logs is kind of, I don't know. It's kind of a thing of the, not really of the past. It just doesn't get as much traction anymore. And there's a lot of editing that goes into those gig logs. So, I mean, I've got two loaded up that I would still use if you guys said no. But other than that, I just wanted to see, just kind of get a gauge for that. So if you could answer that poll in the chat, if you are on YouTube, if you are on Twitch, I don't have a way to do that at the moment because I don't have the dashboard up. But that is still all good. DJ J Torture, what's good? DJ TJ Cap. I can't even pronounce that name. Let's see. Anybody want to help me with that? DJ TJ Kaupini Kaapuni. I probably butchered that, bro. I'm not going to lie to you. I probably butchered that like hell. But my apologies if I did butcher that. I tried to get it right. I try to work on names every single week. Another thing, if you guys can make sure you hit the like button while you're in here, just helps the video move right along as we had our first 1,000 viewed podcast video. First one since we started, so give yourselves a round of applause. DJ Bar set the bar, no pun intended, for that, which is great. So if you could just hit the like button, let me know that you actually enjoy the content and everything that I'm bringing out. Now, let's get to today's information and let's talk about it here. First of all, we lost a lot of people here over the last 2, maybe even 3 weeks. Just in case you didn't know, first things first, we lost the sound of hip hop, which is Fat Man Scoop. And, he is just on so many great tracks, brought so much energy to music. We heard him in a lot of Missy Elliott stuff. We heard him and a lot of older stuff like Be Faithful and stuff like that. And man, he was just a big part of hip hop, and he will be missed. And it was kind of all of a sudden, like we just kind of heard about this all of a sudden. So RIP to Fat Man Scoop. Next, we got Rich Homie Quan. Rich Homie Quan, if you haven't heard of him, that's the, oh gosh, I had all his songs ready to go in my head, but now I can't think any of them. But you guys know Rich Homie Quan, like Flex and stuff like that. All those great bangers. So if you get a chance to play some Rich Homie Quan in your upcoming gigs, make sure you dedicate it to him. So RIP to the homie, Rich Homie Quan. Just recently, we lost Frankie Beverly, which was devastating to hear. All the classic, R&B soul type music came from an era that was before my time, but still timeless music. And of course, everybody at cookouts and family reunions and barbecues and just in the community played all of Frankie Beverly and sometimes May's song as well. So RIP to Frankie Beverly as well. And then we had James Earl Jones, the voice of Mustafa, the next door neighbor on the Sandlot, and Dark Vader, and King Jaffe Joffer from Coming to America. I mean, James Earl Jones, man, everybody just wants a voiceover. I wish I could have had a DJ drop from James Earl Jones. Just that voice would have been crazy. You're now watching, rocking with one of the best, and it is DJ J. But that would have been fire. Just have him do something as a drop for me. That would have been dope. So RIP to some of the great minds and people in the community of hip hop and just in the black community in general who just recently passed away. So definitely show your respects and stuff to them. You can post them and just throw up prayers and everything like that. So, all right, let's talk about 2 weeks ago. We're going to rewind the clock 2 weeks ago to where I had a double event. I had a Saturday and a Sunday. So the first thing is the first gig that I had. It was a Saturday. It was a tailgating event. It was for the local football team here, the college football team, the USC Gamecocks. Now, the team doesn't really do a whole lot as far as college football goes, but as far as tailgating and diehard fans, it's one of the top schools to be able to do that. So I had a gentleman want to rent equipment from me and have it for his setup here. So I was able to bring out my QSCs that have not been brought out in quite some time. So this is the whole setup that he had here. He had my two QSC 153s, and he had both of my subs, my QSC KW 181s. He had both of those out there. And then on the table, he had my Yamaha MGX U10 or MGU10, something like that. He had my mixer out there. You could see on the table, he's also got an iPad. He wanted to be able to run music. And the other gentleman that referred him to me, they do audio and video. So he had a TV, multiple TV setup, and they ran a audio left and right to me to be able to run in the mixer so that they can have the game through there as well. So basically it was just, them having to come over to a channel, turn one down if they didn't want music, and turn one up if they wanted to listen to the game. And, just as simple as that. But it's a great way for us to utilize equipment that does not get used as much. So it was nice to be able to rent that out and get that to them. And it was nice to be able to get the QSCs out because they just kind of sit in my garage, just sitting there like they're doing right now. So definitely great to do that. You see my truck and everything in the background up there. Then across the way, not too far from here, this was kind of like where our state fair and everything is. The football stadium is like, I guess if you're looking at this picture, it's north of there, but less than a mile. It's like less than half a mile. I set up my next setup, which was a tailgate, which I've done now. This is my second year doing it. And basically, I just play music for pregame, 3 hours of pregame music. And then I turn it off for the game. And if there's enough people, I'll play like an hour over and everything here. But you see my other QSCs that I had. I told you guys I got a lot of QSCs. These are the QSC KW122s. So it was great to get them back out. They sounded great. Everything still sounds great on these speakers. It just makes it so hard to try to get rid of these speakers because they still sound amazing after all this time, after all that sitting and just relaxing and the different temperatures in and out of my garage. It's still great. That's one thing I love about QSCs. So it was still great. I've got my, I think it's a Pro X stand there, and then 2 of the on stage stands there. I don't usually get to bring out, I said on stage. Those are the Frankenstands that are there. I don't usually get to use the Frankenstands that often, so it was nice to be able to pull them out. And then, of course, I had a little help and a very, very special guest come out, kick it with me and stuff for a little bit. DJ Mike came out there and he kicked it with me. He played some music. I let him take over and just do his thing, man. No obligation. No, he didn't have to meet some quota. We were just playing music. And I just let him hop on and he did his thing. And then we would rotate and I would hop on, and we tried to get it up and going on Twitch, but the router signal that I was piggybacking off of was not strong enough to hold the signal. So it picked up the music from what I understand, but it did not pick up the picture. Like the picture was like frozen, and then it would come unfrozen, then it would freeze again. So you could see right there to the right, I did have it set up for Twitch to be able to run that on Twitch. And for the most part, from what I understand, all the music made it through, which was good. So shout out to DJ Mike for coming out, kicking it with me, and us just having a good time. So that was Saturday, and that was a pain in the butt to go pick back up because the area that I needed to go pick everything back up from was blocked off by police. So I literally had to drive around for almost 2 hours to get that first setup picked up. And this one right here was pretty easy. I was right there with it, but I had to drive around for like 2 hours to get that second setup, which was nuts because first thing in the morning, I had to travel to Savannah. So let's talk about the Savannah trip. Now, I want you guys to see this because I brought my T-stand for this. I brought the whole board stand, and you guys know the size of the box for that stand. And this was what they told me I had to load in my equipment with. Now, for any of you guys that load into hotels and load into very, very tall buildings, you know that this is a nightmare. There's nothing you can do if you have to go up here. You have to trim everything down. And this place was 2.5 hours away from me. So there was no going back. And something in me told me I should have switched to the Rev 7. And I probably could have got everything on a cart and got it up there. But I was like, no, I'm trying to impress this crowd, try to be out in Savannah. It won't be that bad. I thought that they would let me go through the front of the hotel lobby, but hotel lobby said, I'm sorry, you cannot load in equipment this way. You have to go in through the back. And I would just like to show you, I recorded this because once I saw how I had to load in, it was not only just this, what you see up here, it was also this. So this is me with my hoverboard stand here. And once you get to the top of that ramp, you open that door, and I'm sorry it's sideways there, but it'll turn back the right way here in just a second. And you pretty much had to roll all the way down. Now, remember, I've got an entire setup. This young lady wanted up lights. I had to roll speakers. I had to roll my stand. I had to roll lights. I had to roll all this down this hallway. This right here is just one trip, literally just one trip. And I did this 6 times to load in and 6 times to load out. We're still going. I have to go down and around this corner. Nice young man right there. He helped me turn the stand a little bit because it didn't want to go the right way. I was a little nervous because he was grabbing my very expensive stand. I didn't want him to pull it forward, but we're still going. We're still going. I still have to turn this corner right here. That's me just backing it up a little bit. And then we still have to go down this hallway. We're still not at the room yet. This is us just in the back. And it's still going. And then I get over this little hump right here. And now we're kind of in the foyer area. And then I still had to make it over to the room. And then over to the left. Right there to be able to set this up. So that just lets you know that it was a crazy, crazy load in. Now, once I got it in there and everything was set up here, you can see some of the dancing footage that I've got here. The party and everything went well. It was a kind of a smaller room, but I mean, I've got up lights and everything around the room. I've got, this is another video of just them dancing in the middle. I think the bride and groom hops in the middle of this right here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're already in there. They're in there in the middle, dancing already. So I also have some great images and stuff from here because it was a great ceremony. You can see here that I also had, to set up for a ceremony outside, which was just the E-verse 8. And my main setup for a ceremony here, but it was right beside the river. So because I knew it was going to be crazy and I had already done the night before, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't, I wasn't going to like die trying to drive back. So I did stay in a hotel right across the river here, but it was crazy because ships and everything were coming right through here, and there were yachts and stuff in there, but also big container ships were coming through there, and it was absolutely massive. Like this image right here was a point where there was no container ships coming at all. However, man, there was one ship that came. It was the biggest ship I had ever seen. It was absolutely crazy. It was nuts. And then this is the setup right here that I ended up doing. One thing I didn't like is in order for me to be center, I was going to have to move everything over to the middle, but the speakers would have been like right on me. And I kind of like when my speakers are spaced out. But this is what I had to work with. And I brought a minimal setup as much as I could, but it was still a whole lot. Like even just this and the 3 cases of uplights that I brought and the speakers and all, I mean, that still was 5 to 6 trips. And so I'm just like pouring sweat, leaving, pouring sweat going. Like it was nuts. And remember, I had a whole gig the night before and a drive up there the night before. So it was nuts. You can see from behind the setup and everything there. That is what it looks like. Very clean. Not a whole lot that was going and doing about that, but they did have fun. They did have a lot of fun, which was great. I got a 5-star review from them, so kudos to them. Great weekend. I was totally exhausted the next day. Totally. I was spent. So I don't even know. I think that's going to be one of my topics probably next week is how to handle double gigs or multiple gigs in a weekend. Because as you get older, these things get harder and harder and harder. especially at some of these venues. Oh my gosh, some of these venues that don't have the best of load ins, it absolutely kills me to load into these places. So that was that. Let me see here. Also, if you would like to hear my latest mix, I did a workout mix. I've got a link down in the description for you to check that out. I just put it together just because I'm always listening to like the same mixes that I have on Mixcloud, and I figured, if I'm going to do that, I might as well put together something that just kind of keeps me energized and pumped, doing a workout. So if you want to workout mix, there, it's mainly hip hop that's on there, but it is pretty good. I let DJ Mike hear it, and I've posted it before. But if you would like to hear it, the link is down in the description of this video, so you can check it out. Okay, all that's done. Let me move myself here. All right, I got all that taken care of. So now I'm going to give you guys the floor to ask any questions that you may have. Remember, put hashtag ask in the chat. If you would like to ask any type of questions, I will be glad to answer them to the best of my ability. If I cannot answer them, or somebody in the chat will assist, we are all here to help, and we do not judge. So that is fantastic. Also, if you could do me a favor and hit that like button while you are here, that just helps the video move forward. G Kenny, if you will just remind everybody periodically to hit the like button, that would be fantastic. So hashtag ask in the chat. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can. I'm sorry for not having some stuff for you guys. I will have some stuff. I've already thought of 2 topics already. I'll have 2 topics and stuff next week. It's just a little tough to try to keep it fresh. I'm also working on an R&B mix that I'm going to put out. I'm trying to put out, a lot of mixes and everything here as I can. Oh, well, somebody here didn't like what I had to say, and they gave a thumbs down. So appreciate that. Appreciate the honesty. Let's see here. Also, to my poll, it looks like people like the gig logs. So I guess I will continue to do the gig log. No, I don't. I do not. What it does for me is I market in Honeybook. I market as minimal setup. I always list it as minimal setup. So what I've done is I've made sure that I never try to bring more than I'm supposed to, and I try to keep it as minimal as possible because I know that load in is crazy. Now that load in would have trimmed down just a little bit if I could have put a lot of stuff on that in that case that I have the T stand in. It would have trimmed down a lot, and if I can go through the lobby. But for this, like if I had to label this one, this was the Westin in Savannah, just in case you guys were wondering which hotel it was. Very great hotel, very nice hotel. Nothing bad to say other than the load in is absolutely terrible. That is the worst thing about that hotel. But other than that, you got to have some money. That thing was $300 a night because I looked to see if I could just stay in the hotel, and it was like $300 a night. So I didn't do that one. I had the couple look at the one across the river, and they took care of it. So it's all good. But yeah, I don't add it to a blacklist. I just make sure that I put minimal setup. Because if I were to do this venue again, it would be the Rev 7. It would be the facade, things like that. Stuff that can all fit on one cart move. And we go from there. Kind of save me. Good question. DJ Chris Senzo, what's going on, man? I don't know why I have to keep blowing these things up. Let's see here. Do you wear a back brace during load in and load out? No. I'm not lifting a whole lot. I'm so thankful that I have strategically put as much stuff as I possibly can on wheels. My speakers are on wheels. They have casters. My lights go in a box that's in a caster. That's on casters. My DJ stand has a furniture cart that you can sit the stand on if the box is too big to go in someplace, and it rolls. Then I have a cart for all the other equipment. All I have to do is just, individually put the thing on it. So I'm not lifting a whole lot. I have strategically put everything on wheels, and I highly, highly recommend that you put as many things as you can on wheels just to make life 10 times easier for you. Because during those load ins and load outs, I am so thankful that I did that. So definitely do that if you can. If you have the opportunity to do so, definitely put wheels on it. Jay Torture, for cold sparks, do you need a special insurance or special fire extinguisher? It just depends on your area. Some areas do require it. Some hotels are like the main ones that require you to have credentials. Some venues that are just kind of out in the open, they don't. A lot of venues here in South Carolina, they don't ask for any type of paperwork. They just tell you flat out no, or they say yes, but over here, or they say, yeah, it's fine. So it's just one of those three things that they don't really ask for that. Now, it just really depends on your area, to be totally honest with you. But here, the venues that I have frequently visited, they just give me, what their stipulation is. And it's one of those three choices. Either, yeah, you can, yeah, but you have to do it over here, or flat out no. Simple as that. Let's see. Devon Matheson, what can I use to keep my speakers sitting straight when I place them on a speaker pole? If your speaker is wobbling, that means that your pole is not set, because it's almost like a universal opening at the bottom of most speakers. But if you put a speaker that's too small on there, it's really tough to get that level. I would say the only thing that you could probably do is maybe get like something that could fill that space in there. Because let's say this is your pole and the speaker kind of sits like this. So if there's any type of space in here, you may be able to get like an item or a piece or some paper in there just to kind of make it more of a tight fit. And maybe you can lean it a little bit to hold it on there. But it's a struggle because you have to get poles that are big enough to hook to your speakers. Most subwoofer poles fit most of the speakers that have come out, especially the box wood speakers. The gravity stands usually fit just about every single speaker hole. And I know for a fact that Frankenstand, if you had to have the tripod stand, it's a hydraulic stand and it has a universal speaker hole as well. So you just probably need one that has a universal speaker hole if you want to get the speaker to sit right, or you would have to stick something up there because your speaker hole is too small for whatever pole you've put it on. All right, Wickman 2A asks, how do you feel about weddings where you're not allowed to set up your reception gear enter during cocktail hour due to a room flip? Now, I've only experienced this a few times. And it's tough. It's tough because if you don't have somebody with you, you have to set all that up. Also, of course, it works best if you've got a partner with you. If you could set up, as much stuff as possible, leave the cords hanging, and then all you had to do is just kind of lift and move everything in its place and then plug up. That's the best thing. That's the best option for you. If everything has to stay in cases, it may have to be some negotiation with the bride and groom, because normal setups sometimes take longer than that. And I know that we can be in a rush, but I can't do a sound check. I can't do any of that stuff. Like, in order for me to properly perform, you're going to have to give me ample time. So either bring somebody with you and already have as much stuff as you can pre-set up. If that's not the case and you got to keep everything in its cases and you can't bring that out yet, I would definitely talk to the bride and groom and let them know your dilemma during your sit down, not during the wedding. So once you have your Zoom call, just let them know, hey, if you're going to have to do a room flip, like I'm going to need a little bit more time, like maybe an additional 20 minutes on top of cocktail hour to set up. But you should be able to get most setups up within a 45-minute to an hour time frame. You should be able to, unless you just have a massive setup. Especially if it's a massive setup, then they have to understand that you need hours. You need hours. And you're going to have to pre-set up some stuff. I mean, look, that has to be the understanding. They have to know. As long as you tell them, they should know. As long as you talk to the coordinator and the bride and groom, they should be able to figure something out. It shouldn't deter you from getting the gig. But if I were you, the first thing I would do is get help. Have somebody help you. Have somebody there to help put it together and sit it off to the side if you can. Eric's DJ service channel. that's a lot right there. Okay. What are your thoughts on these venues making bride and grooms pick their DJ from the venue list, not letting them pick their own? Well, I think, look, I think it's great. Here's why I think it's great. Because if you've played the venue, that means the venues have seen you. If the party was great, that means you're going to get recommended by you. I have multiple venues here that I'm on the preferred venue list for. I like it. I definitely like it. But I don't have any venues that say, hey, you have to pick from this list. I don't know any venues that say you have to pick. I think the venues just kind of let the couple know, hey, these are some guys that have played here before and they're who have been great. I don't recall any venues that say you only can use DJs from here unless they're unless they're a resident DJ. If you're a resident DJ, and then that means that you have to pick from this list. Now, I don't agree with that, because now you're not letting anybody else come in and you're saying, if you're going to use this venue, you've got to use, these DJs. I don't like that. I don't like there not being an opportunity to bring somebody else in. However, for the venues that allow for just a vendor referred list, and they say, here's some ones just in case, just in case you don't have anybody on a list, I think that's great. That's marketing that you don't have to pay for. That's free marketing. I cannot knock that. If it is a venue that has a preferred list, see how you can get on it. If you want to do those, if you've got multiple people, you could see how you can get on that list with them. I mean, if you can't beat them, join them, right? That would be another option. Devin Matheson, what can I use to get my speakers to sit? Well, I've already answered that. All right. Kevin Sounds, do any of your couples want to do early mock or fake send? Yes, I hate those. I absolutely hate send-offs, fake send-offs. I tell couples every time, if you want to get rid of the majority of your crowd, do a fake send-off. People, when you give people an opportunity to leave, it's almost like we're keeping most people there hostage in a way. And it's like, as soon as we give them the green light to leave, they take it. So I hate fake leaves. I absolutely hate them. I'll do them because I know it's great for the photo, and I know why they do them, because they feel like there's not going to be enough people there afterwards. But they suck. They will kill your dance floor, and you have to start all the way back over. You have to start all the way back over and recreate whatever you were doing. I hate fake leaves and send-offs. I hate them with a passion. I'll do them, but I let the bride and groom know that that's probably going to be near to the end. I wouldn't play more than 30 minutes unless your crowd is just absolutely rowdy. And they're like, we're not done forever. Come back and do that. All right. Nick Hughes, DJ Fat Mac. So if a couple booked you about a year or more ago and you already raised your prices, do you still bring in your current setup or bring one of your old setups at the time they book? Well, I'm going to answer this question a little bit different because when I first got these setups, these multiple setups that I have, I would have told you bring the setup per the package, whatever you set them up as. But now you bring the setup per the venue. You bring the setup per the venue. You just base it on their needs. So like, the smaller setup, bride and groom are not going to know what a smaller setup looks like. They're not. I mean, you saw what my setup looked like that I brought. I had the T-stand and I had 2 wash movers and then everything else was up lights. It doesn't have to be like crazy. I would just say, if the venue allows it, you just pick the one that, is aesthetically pleasing, that goes with the flow, but it is based on the venue to me. It's not based on the package anymore. Because at first I was only going to bring the T-stand out on my biggest package, but I soon realized that one doesn't go out as often and I can still use it on the basic package. So now it's just like whenever I feel like it or whenever their setup kind of calls for you, I'm not going to take my T-stand to any type of outside event. I will never do that. I won't take my T-stand to any type of barn event, anything like that. You won't see that. You'll see the Rev 7. So it's just based on the venue, to be totally honest at this point. Regardless of the price point, I'll bring a Rev 7 to my biggest package. If the load in is terrible, I will switch up that setup so fast because it's still clean. It's still a great setup. It's still very, very clean. So that's why I look at it that way. Not to have any type of arrogance and stuff behind it, but this is now venue driven. And I've got to think about me being able to load this stuff in and out. But I just don't have as much. I don't use as much equipment as I used to before. Just the main things that give me the wow factor. All right. James King. I just started a YouTube channel about 2 months ago. How long did it take for you to feel comfortable making videos and feeling confident about your content? I'd probably say about about a year. I was worried about how everything looked on camera, but I also struggle with how to edit and stuff as well. Once my editing got better, it's almost like I kind of knew what my format would be, and it got easier. It got way easier to be able to actually just get on camera and talk to it. I used to, it's so funny, because Aaron Strawn brought this up when I was on his show. He said, we sit there and we do like the little whisper to the camera because we're still not confident. And now I look at myself and I'm just like out in the open, all these vendors and everything there. And I'm like, what's up, guys? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, that's like leap years away from where I was when I used to be like, yo, so like, we gonna do it like a gig log and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it does take time. I would say it's kind of different for everybody. Once you get a rhythm, I think once you get a rhythm, it helps you build more confidence. And if you want to, I know they say this a lot and you may be like, that doesn't work, but doing it like at home or doing it in a mirror can really, really help you. It can really, really help you. Or do reels first. That's like you recording, you just recording yourself on there. That will really, really help you when it's time to have long format on the camera. Because like me right now, I'm talking to you guys strictly through a camera. There's nobody talking back other than typing. And, that's how we're communicating. That's already tough. I don't do that normally. I'm very good at communicating with somebody who's face to face. So this is definitely out of the norm, out of my wheelhouse doing something like this. But over time, 105 shows now, You know, I've kind of gotten the hang of this, and I'm kind of, you know, okay talking to a camera, and I'm assuming I'm looking directly at you. I mean, that's all I can say. But yeah, just time, man. All right, DJ J Torture. Should you charge different for different setups? Like I have the Bun booth, and I also have the Pro X Mesa. Should they be priced different? I don't think so. I think what you offer is what makes the price different. I don't think that the setup, as far as what you DJ off of, again, I think that is more aesthetics and what you're willing to bring out. If you're getting a lot of basic packages, if somebody ups their package, it automatically rings out in our head that we want to bring out better stuff because they got a better package. But what you start to notice is that whether you bring the Mesa stand or you bring what's the other stand? The Pro X stand or the Bun booth, you're still going to DJ the same way off of it. It's just more of how it looks and what the venue is. See, I think if the venue is a nicer venue, then I'll probably bring a nicer setup if it allows for it. If the venue is just kind of like okay, but they've got one of your middle packages, I would bring your okay setup. As long as it's aesthetically pleasing, that's all that matters. That's really all that matters. So I would base it on the venue, not what they paid for, because whether you're DJing on two, you know, turntables, whether you're DJing on two control vinyl things, and whether you're DJing on a Rev 7, whether you're DJing on a Flex 10, it is the same playing of music that is going to take place. It's just a matter of how you look over there in the corner. So you got to base it on the venue and the setup. That's what I would say. Because think about this. When a couple hires a band, they can't change their setup. It's a light over here, a light over here. All their instruments, guitar, microphones, keyboards, all that is set up the same way every time. They don't have no room to change, but they're making a crap ton of money. Oh, trying to keep this nose down, guys. Sorry about that. Oh, God, my nose. Okay. Eric Morado asks, at the stage you are now with your years of experience and exposure, how would you personally deal with losing clients to more budget DJs? Okay. I've done multiple videos on this, so you can definitely check the channel for this. But I will say this. If you lose gigs to budget DJs, it doesn't mean that you have to drop down your prices. It just means that those clients weren't for you. If you want to hit a certain target audience, then you've got to focus your efforts on that target audience. First thing I would do is find a coordinator that is hitting your target audience. I would talk to a coordinator that you know in your area is looking for, or not looking for, but is hitting the audience that you wouldn't mind DJing for. Put your name into that hat. Go to venues and drop off your card, or once you've performed at a venue, drop off your card. Okay, so you can try to get on that preferred list. Especially if you absolutely kill a gig, you definitely need to drop your card off. Definitely do not leave without dropping your card off. The second thing that I would tell you is that budget DJs are just trying to grow. Okay. I've been a budget DJ in the past. I've been a person who only made X amount of dollars for each wedding. And that's the kind of client that I got. I got a client that had this big appetite, but had this baseline money. Now I want the client who has the big appetite, who's also willing to pay for that appetite, pay for that full course meal. and you just got to get that to match. And you've got to start networking, especially if you can't afford to set up for like some type of bridal show or advertisement. I would definitely network with coordinators in your area. All you need is 1 foot in the door to start a whole network in your area. Because 1 foot here, and they can spread you to another person, or you can come across another person. And then let your price be your price. Stand on business. Let your price be your price. If you're looking for somebody who's going to pay you $1,000, don't take somebody who's going to pay you $600. That's not the client you're looking for. You've got to stand on it. Now, if you're just trying to stay afloat, you may not have an option but to take a $600 client. But just remember what the overall goal is and keep pushing yourself to get to that goal. You just got to stay focused on the goal at hand. So that's what I would say to you, Eric. Eric has another one. Would you ever recommend or encourage paying to be on the, well, you don't have to. You don't have to pay. A card will do. I mean, at least that's in this area. If you have to pay in your area, that's interesting. That's very interesting. If you've got to pay to be on a preferred vendor list, if it's a nice venue, why not? If it's not too much, that's an investment. A few venues, Embers in Florida, have started doing that. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. So yeah, if it's a nice venue, at least put your name in the hat. If it's not too much, if it's like $100 or $200 one time, why not? You may get the clientele you're looking for. All right, Wickman 2A. Thoughts on charging extra for live mics or handhelds, or if you need to bring more than 2 mics to a ceremony. You know, I used to nitpick, and I actually have this coming up this Sunday. This Sunday's event, they need 3 mics. Now, you know, my setup is for 2 mics, 2 lavalier mics, and they want a handheld as well. I used to nitpick and do that stuff. I don't mind it anymore. I don't charge. Now, if we've got to do a whole production and, you know, there's 6 mics going around, that's different. But if I can accommodate that, which I know I can, and it's not going to be too much out of my realm, I don't mind it. Because you got to think about it. I've got my 2 lavalier mics in a box already set up here, right? I'm going to take my Phoenix Pro PTU 71 dual microphone thing, and I'm going to set it right on top of that box. I'm going to run a line up to line 2 in the Everse. The lavalier is going to be in line 1. I'm going to put a mic stand up at the front, and I'm going to put a wireless microphone in there, and people are going to walk up to it. That's what me and the bride and groom had discussed. Did I charge them more for that? No, I didn't. It doesn't have to cost more just for an extra step, especially if you're being, you know, especially if they've been a good couple, no bridezillas, no groomzillas, no, none of that stuff. And they're paying you well. You really don't have to nitpick. I hate nitpicking. I hate it. I hate nitpicking. The only thing that I nitpick for right now is overtime. That's the only thing I nitpick is overtime, because now you're eating into me breaking down and everything here. So now I'm going to have to charge you for that, but it's in the contract. It's in the contract. So that's what I would say. I don't charge for that. James King, have you ever booked clients from YouTube alone? Yes, I have. To answer that, yes, I have. Several clients since I started YouTube. I have definitely booked them. I feel like YouTube videos are really just for other DJs. Don't really see clients looking at it. Now, they're not just going to see it because it's YouTube. You could, when they ask, do you have any work that I could see? Cause I'm getting a lot more of that. Do you have anything where you can show us you DJ? Then that's when I send them the video. That's when I send it to them. And yes, I have booked them off of sending that. I've also missed out on a few lately, even after sending that. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird feeling because I usually don't miss. When I have to send them a video, I usually don't miss when I do that. It's usually almost a guarantee. But yes, I will say that yes, I have booked them, but Instagram is definitely my main source for booking clients that I don't even know are looking. Instagram is. Okay, Romeo, great. Will you ever do another live speaking with us again? And one step further, have a live DJ skills with members participating during your... Okay, so I probably won't do that second half, but Romeo, I am trying to come up with a New Year's Eve deal where I get, you know, we could do a round robin of DJs for New Year's, and I can go live and then bring on somebody else. They take over for DJing for a little bit. Then we can bring on somebody else and they do some DJing, because I want to create a whole live stream DJ New Year's thing just to see what kind of traction we get. So that'll be the next time that I do that. I think that when I did that, that was just for the 100th episode, and I thought that would be just something cool to bring on. I want to continue to try to be creative on these lives, only because, you know, there's only but so much you could say before people's attention span, you know, is like this. So I know people love Q&As, so because it just gives you a chance to ask questions that maybe I haven't answered, or you need an answer, or you may come across something. I know that people like to hear from other people in the industry, so I try to bring that out. I just try to be innovative in as much stuff as I can. So I probably won't do that portion of stuff again, but I am trying to put something together that's new and different, and see if we can get that ball rolling. But I will, as we get closer to that time, I'll start advertising that more. Okay, let's see here. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Look, we got all these people in here and we only got 15 likes. Can we get to 30 likes and stuff before the live's over? Can we just get to 30 likes? I mean, I know G Kenny right here is asking for 20, but if you could, let's just challenge ourselves to get to 30 likes. Let's just see what happens. Eric Morado, not a question, but you need to take Zyrtec twice a day. Okay. Okay. So fun fact, during the spring, I have really bad allergies, and I take Zyrtec once a day, every 24 hours to try to, keep down all the stuff. Outside of the spring, I'm usually good. I usually don't have issues. This right here started this morning. And for some reason, when I get these little, minor head colds, no matter what I do, it just continues all day. Like when I wake up tomorrow, I'll be 100% fine. That's how I know I'll be good. But it's like it needs me to rest. It needs my body to just take care of it while I'm sleeping. And then when I wake up, we're all good again. It's just how it works. I've even tried to take medicine when it's happening. Like before I came on the show, I did 2 nasal sprays in my nose. And trust me, this was much better than it was before. Before, I was sneezing like crazy. It's just sneeze after sneeze after sneeze. I was like, Jesus. And so, yeah. So I'm working on it. But thank you for the advice. Appreciate you. The last 3 clients that have hit me up asked for my price, and I quoted them what you guys are calling a cheap price of around $600, and they said I was too expensive. Whoa, that is definitely not your client right here. This right here, if you're getting this, no. They should definitely hire their brother or uncle or cousin who DJs. They should definitely hire him. That just can't be. That can't be the option. You can't be the option for that. Let's see. Ask J Torture. I have a YouTube. Wait a minute. I have a YouTube with some gig logs on there, but what's your thoughts on YouTube versus Reels? I think Reels are probably a little bit more popular than YouTube videos. YouTube videos have been out for forever, and I know they try to do shorts on there as well, and shorts hit for a little bit. I think that if you do have a great reel in mind and it's DJ related, I think you should put it on 3 platforms. I think you should put it on, Instagram for reels, TikTok, and I think you should put it on YouTube Shorts just to see it. You'll be amazed at the difference in the numbers. You'll be amazed. But use all of those platforms. Use all of them. But I think Reels is probably the most popular one now. I think when I go to Instagram, I see the stories up top. I look at the stories, and I look at the news feed, and then I go to Reels. And sometimes people in the stories will, say you got a new reel, so I'll just touch it, and that just takes me to Reels. But news feed is actually the worst. So yeah, definitely Reels. Definitely Reels. J Torture, I'm down for the New Year's thing. I need to get back on Twitch. I used to stream 2 to 3 times during COVID. I'm telling you, man, it is fantastic. Like, I'm going to probably be on there tomorrow. I've been on there recently, and for some reason, I did a pop-up earlier this week, I think on Monday. I did a pop-up, and for some reason, it didn't show. Like a few people came out, but it didn't show as me doing Twitch stream on Twitch. I don't know why. I'm not sure, but hopefully, it gets back to normal, and that will I will be able to get those streams back. But I probably will go on tomorrow for a little bit, maybe an hour. I've got a routine that I would like to work out and see what I can do. What I've been putting together multiple routines, and I highly recommend that you do so as well, just so you can just get a feel for music. We have to play a certain style of music every weekend, and I know I'm like ready to burst out of that. That's why I'd like try to not play any of that stuff that I already play every weekend, because I could damn near close my eyes and play all of that stuff. I'm pretty good at mixing all of that music that I have to do, and even when I bring in new versions of music, as far as for weddings and things like that, it's real easy to incorporate in what I'm already doing. So I like to kind of step away from that, do something completely different, and just mess around with it, so I still am in touch with other styles of music too. Ugh. All right, let's see. That's it. Did I get them all? I think I got them all. I think I got all the questions. That's perfect. It's like almost right in time. Oh, what's this? Kevin Sal says, take your gig logs and break them up into bite-sized reels so you can do both. There's an opportunity. Or have somebody come out and record you. Pay somebody. Either way. All right. Well, I think I've covered just about everything that I could possibly cover. I think I have. I think this was another productive show. I definitely should be back. Yeah, I will be back next Thursday. I don't have anything yet, but it is starting to kind of that window of opportunity is just starting to cramp and close here. So I would say that I will be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. EST for some more another great show. We'll talk about the wedding that I'm going to do this weekend. I expect great things from it. It's from that great venue the last time that I showed you guys that had the letters up there. So that venue looks like I'll be going there a lot. So that is good. Be on the lookout for some video content that'll be coming out. I'll be working on a few videos and a few mixes. So if you do not already, make sure you follow me on Instagram, because that's where I'll be posting everything. So definitely follow me on Instagram for all the stuff that I'm going to post and have for you guys to take a listen or a look at as far as gig logs and mixes. And I should be going live on Twitch. If you guys haven't already, follow me on Twitch. Make sure you do, because I am going to probably go live on Twitch tomorrow. And I'm looking to still start a consistency on Tuesdays, excuse me. So I definitely want to jump on there on Tuesdays right around 12 tomorrow. I'm going to probably be on there either 12 or 1 o'clock. But if you turn on your notifications, it'll definitely let you know when I'm on there. So definitely come on out. We might even have DJ Mike beat around Robin. Right after I get finished, we can go raid him if he is available. If not, I would definitely raid another great DJ as well. Y'all better not sleep on Mike's skills, man. Mike's on Twitch as well. So, Mike's got some good skills, man. He is definitely working his ass off. So definitely keep up with all things DJ related here, and definitely follow me on Mixcloud, because that's where I'll be putting all my mixes at. Like I said, new workout mix down below in the description of this video. So definitely do so. I think that's it. You guys go enjoy football. Football's on tonight. Great game. Bills and Dolphins. It is going to be fantastic. I thank you guys for always coming and supporting your favorite DJ. And I promise you that we're going to try to keep this thing rolling until the wheels fall off, until I get tired of doing this, which I'm not tired of doing it yet. I'm not. I still feel like there's some knowledge that I can pass on, and I will continue to try to do so. One way or another. All right, guys. You guys make sure that you follow all those things JayBook related. I'm going to go take care of this nasal issue, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Make sure you live in to strive, not to survive. Peace, people.